What's up, guys? Sand7 here, and well, what you're looking at is my Smurf. Gameplay is going to be Dungeons 1 and 2. Commentary is going to be non-CC related. Basically had the craziest last 40 hours of my life. Um, yeah, so I'll go into that in a bit, but alright, the Dungeons 1 and 2, there's no strategy in them anyways. They're Dungeons 1 and 2. Now, when I do Dungeon 3, I've already done 4, and then I do Dungeon 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'll do the same type of strategy going through each dungeon like I did with Dungeon 4. And this Smurf, well, I'm going to make the perfect Smurf, then I'm going to give it away. Now, when that is, I don't know. When I do know, I'll let you know. But basically, yesterday at 3 o'clock, got a call from my mom that my sister had been in a horrible car accident. So I live near, close to my mom, so I head straight there to pick her up. And, in these situations, you just kind of feel helpless. You got to do something. We don't know what hospitals they're going to. We just know that EMS is on the way to them. So we're heading to the scene of the accident. Get a call from my brother who lives very close to my sister, and he gets to the scene of the accident. And I got to say, this was scary because he's, quiet guy or really tough guy, not very emotional, and he was breaking up and when he was talking saying, Walker's really bad off because it was my sister driving with my 4-year-old nephew Walker and my 3-year-old niece Riley, and that was like, then we know it's really bad, and my sister and Riley were also, they were pretty banged up. We didn't know the extent of their injuries because you never know with such a violent collision because it was a head-on collision at high speed. At that point, we knew what hospital they were going to, so my mom and I and stepdad just went ahead and headed to MUSC, which is basically lucky to have this hospital because it's one of the best trauma centers around. It's one of the best children's hospitals in the entire country. So we get there, go straight to the children's ER, and we're just trying to get any information we can. All they know is that my nephew Walker is coming. They don't know anything about it. They can't tell us if he's alive or dead. That sucks when you just don't have any information. And it was only like 2 minutes later that they let us know that they're medevacing him there. And that's just another sign that it is really serious because the accident wasn't that far away from the hospital. To decide to actually, get the helicopter and get up, to go get him, that means that they want to rush him there, get him there as quickly as possible. Now, my sister and niece, they were each in their own EMS on the way. Brother, of course, is driving on to meet us there. And so at that point, the nurse let us know that they were going to be doing all the work on Walker in the main ER since the room is larger and they have 4 teams of doctors prepping for his arrival. Yeah, nice hospital, right? So we head over to the main ER, and then, it's a tier 1 trauma center, so it was packed. And once the nurse saw that and she realized that we wanted, some privacy with this, she was going to, take us back to the children's ER. Then one of the doctors came up and said, hey, we actually have a private room and we have a chaplain to speak with you. And at that point, I was like, oh, shit. My mom lost it because my experience, and I've gone through lots of just crazy shit in my life, basically. My mom's experience with ERs and trauma, and then speaking with a chaplain means someone's dead. And that point, that was scary. And now they did. As soon as they saw the reactions, they let us know that the chaplain is a liaison between the doctors and the family in this hospital procedure. And I got to say, after this experience, I understand why. And she was actually absolutely amazing. And getting us the information, just the little details, just because in these situations, every little bit of information is absolutely gold. So the next thing we find out is that Walker has arrived and he is alive, which that was really good news to hear. Also, we found out that he was conscious at the scene of the accident, not coherent but conscious. So that's more, a little bit of good news at least. And a few minutes go by, find out my sister and Riley have arrived. Really don't know too much other than they are banged up. We don't know how serious it is. Brother gets there as well to meet with us and wait a little bit longer. Find out that my sister is, she's in the ER and Well, I had assumed that she was going to be yelling and screaming at them because she's worried about her kids, and she's terrible with all types of authority, especially medical personnel, law enforcement, judges. I mean, calling a judge a stupid fucking bitch in open court. Well, I'll give you, it's funny. Don't ever do it, guys. It ain't worth it. But so I had assumed she was yelling and was going to be sedated soon. Yes, I was proved right on that one. And the next bit of information that we actually got was that my niece was okay, and they were of course going to do all the tests they could because you never know. Like I said, very violent collision, and but she was awake, she was talking, she was smiling, she was laughing, she was playing with some toys, and so then we're just waiting some more. And a lot of this day was waiting. And the waiting part just sucks because your mind always goes to the worst possible scenarios. And we finally got some information from the chaplain that let us know about Walker's injuries, and we found out broken tibia. So I mean, broken leg. It's not life threatening. Can deal with that. The next one was scary as shit. Broken vertebrae, because we didn't know if he had any movement in his arms, legs, thinking, is he paralyzed? Luckily, like 30 seconds later, we found out that he had been moving his arms and legs at the scene, but you still never know. And they had sedated him on the flight over to put the breathing tube in, and God knows we'd all want to be sedated for that. So he was sedated as well, and at that point, it was just also with the injuries, it was basically his midsection. I mean, he's a little guy, and with a collision like this, it was the seatbelt in his midsection that that's really the scary, the problem area. Bruised liver, and they still right now they don't even know what else is could be going on. And during this time, this waiting period, was able to go see my niece Riley, which I gotta say, I saw her and it's like, oh my God, you poor thing. I mean, she's so cute and tiny. She has these two huge black eyes, but it was makeup. She had been playing with purple mascara and while in the car, and her timing and artistic ability to draw black eyes is just priceless, huh? One of the things I got to say is once I did get to spend a little time with her, and she was smiling and laughing, and she wanted to play some Castle Clash, because my niece and nephew, they do love them some Castle Clash, because, well, she's Spirit Mage, and my nephew is Mr. PD himself, and so got to see her laugh and smile and play a little bit, and through all the chaos that this day was at this time, just that little bit of, just good news, good feeling. That was awesome, I gotta say. So from that point, it was just more waiting, and then we got some bad news that Walker was in a coma. And when I heard that, and I know my whole family, all her, mindset went straight to the same thing, and basically it was about 20. Wow, I am 25 years ago. Wow, I'm old. That I've got an older brother that's 10 years older than me. He was 18 at the time, and he was driving by himself. Was in a horrible car accident. He was in a coma for 3 weeks, had massive brain damage, and he's just never been the same since. I mean, still awesome guy. I love him to death, but all his plans for med school and all that just gone. Blink of the eye, gone. And so that's what my entire family is thinking, and that's just shit. Now, luckily, we knew that he didn't have, because we got to somebody got to see him for just a few seconds, but and my brother was on the scene and was able to let us know. Yeah, no, his head, no huge bumps, bruises, anything on his head. It was basically the seatbelt on his midsection that was really bad. And so at that point, it was just another waiting game. And luckily, it was still. God, it was like 8 hours later. I guess like during that waiting time, that's when I went ahead and released the video yesterday. It wasn't the one I was planning on doing, but that was the one that had everything done, and all I had to do was click public. Being on the mobile phone, you can't switch and put annotations in or all that, thumbs and all that stuff. So I went ahead and released that one. Sent a message to Alpha Male, which the next video is a Meet the Player with Alpha Male, and letting him know that I wasn't going to be able to do it. Sister was in an accident,
And then sent me a few messages and then called, and I was like, oh, he's calling me, and called me again, and I was answered, and he was really worried. I gotta say, thanks, man. I appreciate you looking out, brother. And he really was worried, and he is a really good dude. So got to talk to him for a bit, and it was nice just for a little bit to get my mind off of everything, and to let him know how everything was going. Um, so, like I said, it was waiting, and we did get some. It was I don't know how many hours. Like I said, it's been a long day, but maybe 8 hours, whatever it was. We got news that Walker had started to open his eyes, and he was squeezing the doctor's hand. I mean, he was moving his arms, he was moving his legs, and that was just wonderful news at that point. So um, it wasn't too long after that, got word that my sister was being released from the ER, and went down there, woke her up and let her know, hey, they're releasing you. And I was definitely right about her flipping out because she had been sedated. They had to give her a bunch of Ativan injections and morphine because she, well, was yelling. And in particular, one nurse that I gotta say, the nurse was kind of a bitch. And my sister had like a big splinter in her heel, and they weren't going to take care of it. They were going to release her. And this is one, I agree with her on this one. She was about to start flipping out. I was like, oh, Jay, I got it. I got it. Saw the first year of this coming up to put the sling on her. Went up to him, and I got to say, this guy's name was Drew. He was freaking awesome. I'll give you a shout out. You'll probably never see this, but either way, got to do it. Because just little acts of kindness, like what he did for us in these situations is just golden. Basically, it mentioned that, hey, we're not going to be able to go home to soak her foot to get the splinter out. She's got two kids here she needs to see. One's in intensive care. It's like, hold on. Comes back 10, 15 seconds later. It's like the doctor's coming. Basically, I did what I could, but his word's going to be final. The doctor did take care of it, and then we're getting the wheelchair and hospital procedures for him to take us, wheel us up there, and then he'd bring the wheelchair back. And he looked at us and was like, I didn't give you this wheelchair. Lindsay did. I hope everything works out for y'all. And so basically, he just gave us the wheelchair because he knew my sister wasn't going to be on her feet for a while, so she could be able to just take it for a while. It's just little stuff like that, just absolutely golden. So from there, she got to see the kids, and that was rough because those are her babies. And after that, things it kind of settled down and quieted down. I spoke with the doctor in charge at the ICU with Walker and about the injuries and what's going on, and really, it's a waiting game right now because they don't know what could be wrong or what might not be wrong with anything internal stomach wise. So they are in about 3 hours gonna do some exploratory surgery, but best case scenario is he has a full recovery, which, wow, I mean, just the way the day started off. Um, Gotta say, I hope it goes that way. I mean, still not out of the woods yet, but um, am optimistic. And after that, I guess everything settled down for a bit, and I realized that I hadn't eaten in 24 hours. Had been awake for like 40. So, decided to go home, get some food, and, well, started messing around with YouTube and realized that I had this gameplay just set up and felt like talking. So, well, here it is, talking to you guys. I really haven't done any videos about anything personal in the past, but hell, with with my family history, I could do like a friggin' entire channel that would be worse than Jerry Springer at times. But anyways, I don't know. I guess it feels good to get all this out there. And now, as for the next video, I don't know when it's going to be. Now, like I said, I'm going to release the alpha male one later today, and this one later today. I don't know if this one will be before or after the alpha male one, but either way, after those two, I don't know when I'm going to be able to do another video. Hopefully everything goes well, and then, as my guilties would put it, after I hibernate, because I will sleep for like 18, 20 hours once I eventually crash. But after that, hopefully everything works out, and then get back to some CC and farming that new hero because he is friggin' phenomenal for sure. I mean, he is just an absolute god in Here Be Monsters. I've heard against the boss, he's just constantly stunning him. I've seen him just do really good things in the arena. And I gotta say, before I played on Republic's account, that I was like, yeah, he looks good. As soon as I played with that new hero, I knew that it was time to farm some shards because I'm not going to have any money for CC until, well, the YouTube payment comes and I can farm him before I get that. So, well, time to get my ass in the dungeons. All right, guys, that's it for this one. And like I said, I don't know when the next one is, but until then, Sand 7 out.